All right, here we are back after Yubi's victory. We've got Team EEK versus BBZ. I'm once again Ultrafox. I'm here with Anti. We're going to be bringing you the action. Let's see what goes down in this draft.
Ooh, baby. And right now, it's only a question of what exactly we're going to be seeing on both sides. The Camille and the Gwen immediately going to be taken away from Geico. We see a lot of these top focus bans from the side of Team EEK. And now Geico might not necessarily have been the strongest performing player on the roster throughout this season for BBZ, but Geico is still very much the highest ranked player on the roster. So, at the very least, even if he hasn't necessarily had the strongest of performances on stage, you'd still have to absolutely respect that option. While Mizusa's champion pool has always been put under question, taking Geico and putting him on more uncomfortable things never really hurt anyone.
Yeah, this is interesting too, because usually we see a lot of bans focused at Mizusa early on, especially the Victor ban, but now that is available to pick for BBZ. They also have Kale.
Oh boy.
Another Mizusa special. This is available, and they are just going to take it. They know that the Seraphine's going mid, and it won't be too much pressure. Immediately slamming down the Kale. That is an alpha play.
Man, both of these teams absolutely just kind of going to town with this. This might just be straight up a Seraphine Soraka bot lane. Like, both of these teams just looking to take everything that their hearts desire. One thing I will note about the Kale, right? While, yes, it is a Mizusa special, you have to watch out for that. Geico, as a very strong AD carry player, once you hit that level 6 on Kale, she's a ranged AP carry, right? The mechanics of it, not too different. So I wouldn't be surprised if Geico can also pilot that. And we do have the Udyr for XT once again. Very, very, very comfort heavy champion.
Yeah, the new Udyr, not to be confused with Nudyr, of course, will be coming out. Jarvan will follow for Dex. Fan favorite pick from him. He loves those guys that just get on in at you. So it's going to be locked in. Now the question is, will BBZ retain this counter pick for Geico here, or are they going to have him go on something off the bat? I think that it probably is for the best. AD carry counter pick, probably not going to be as relevant. I also don't think that the Seraphine is going to be flexed to the bot lane at all. Kongzi is like the 1v9 guy, right? You want him on something like Vayne, whatever. That
on the Nila, the Twitch.
Yeah, right? Twitch, exactly why they banned it, right?
Yeah, that being said, right, they're taking away things that can be lane dominant into the Soraka, into whatever it is that they pick here. My thought is that with the Caitlyn ban, with the Jinx ban, it might be a Vayne, right? Some kind of hyper carry, but it's the misfortune for BBZ, right? An incredibly, incredibly strong AD carry. You don't want to give Kongzi something that can 1v9, but you still have Kog'Maw available.
But the Ezreal, they pulled this out before too. Ezreal, this is a character that I personally have really wanted to play in FLF, but have not gotten the opportunity to. This is a perfect 1v9 pick. Fantastic versus Jarvan. You just get away from his EQ, from the Cataclysm. You're able to poke out from a range too. You have a range advantage on Kale for a while in the game as well before level 16. So as long as Team EEK is able to find their lead and hopefully close this game out early, it could be looking pretty good. But Geico's Fiora, I've talked a lot about this, and he has a chance to redeem himself here.
And the Riven hover, there's no way it goes to the Riven. Fiora is such an incredibly, incredibly strong matchup into the Maokai, incredibly easy matchup into the Maokai, an incredibly comfortable matchup for Geico. Now, I know Joey has been, kind of beside himself with worry, just hoping that he can perform to the best that his team can. But with this Fiora pick, it's going to be very difficult for Joey. As long as Joey can hold on, then maybe your Ezreal will be able to scale up into the late game and just absolutely demolish the enemy team, right? But you are going to need to draw that Udyr towards the top side, and Dax knows that, right? We have to see whether or not the XT Joey combo is going to be able to take on the Dax Geico combo, because that's where the real win condition comes from. Meanwhile, as far as bot lane goes, I will say, Escape and War Leader, two of my closest friends, two of my best buddies, we played many a season together. They have gone on record saying that Kongzi just really doesn't scare them. Is just a very strong player, but doesn't feel completely uncontestable.
Yeah, okay. Gonna have to see how that plays out if they are right to not be fearful of Kongzi. Let's get onto the rift here. Right on in to EEK versus BBZ. Here we go. Now, I think it's very insightful what you were saying before, where the junglers are going to be pathing, right? You want to back up your top side here. I think there's very, very little kill pressure in the bot lane, given the double enchanters, especially because Ezreal just has Arcane Shift available at level 2. Very difficult for Dex to get down there and actually make things happen. So, top side going to be the focus. Mid lane, also basically ungankable, except if you're able to catch the Kayle out very early on. I think it could be tough. This Kayle, the time bomb, you have to watch out for it. It's a tall order for XT to impact the game here.
Could be a little difficult. That being said, Warrior, you're already going to be able to pick up a little bit of gold. As you can see, BBZ already in the lead here. But the Kayle, while a relatively difficult champion to gank for the side of the Ghost Udyr, early on, if you just pop the Ghost, get the Kayle flash, you can always wrap back around with the Ghost once it's back off cooldown, because Ghost cooldown is so low.
Yeah, definitely. Ghost, big boon to those junglers that are able to take it, just run people down. Let's see if XT is able to do that. He's starting on his red side. Dax will be starting at BBZ's red, respectively. We see some pings around the top side, too. Maybe they think that he's going to go for level 2 early on. Geico takes a turret shot while he's trading with Joey here. The grass procs being bounced back and forth. Joey going to be the one with an HP disadvantage, though.
Joey's going to hold on to that HP disadvantage for a bit, but with that Doran shield should be able to heal up just fine. But one thing I will note, Joey seems to be a little bit unfamiliar with this matchup, right? That early Q was very good. The auto trades were totally fine, but the longer those fights go on, even if the Fiora doesn't have the Conqueror, the worse and worse it's going to get for you. And Kongzi going to be able to get that level 2, going to be able to get a little bit of this pressure, but honestly, BBZ's bot lane seems to be doing just fine.
Yeah, I think that they have to accept that they will be losing out in the poke battle. It's Ezreal Soraka. It's very difficult to try to play versus that. Gonna need some help to really impact these plays. Otherwise, they're just gonna be firing at each other all day long. Now, Dax, he's looking to impact the mid lane. Will show his face. Doesn't want to EQ in though. Just will say hello. Head on over to his blue buff.
Right, and right now, we just can see these continual trades, right? And when you've got a Soraka, you got those sustain lanes, you're going to be able to deal with those poke lanes very, very effectively, right? Especially, Omnipresent, she's just getting so many of these Qs to land. It's very, very important for this laning phase, and she's doing exactly what's required of her. Dax on the bot side, still going to get spotted out by that ward, though, as top side seems to be very good for Geico. Managed to get that cheater back off. Is going to be walking back into lane with another longsword. Has the refillable potion that can be ticking whenever. And Joey's just trying to survive.
Yeah, Joey hanging on here. Just wants to scale up, team fight with everybody else. I think that I've seen Geico play Fiora once before, but hold that thought. He's going to be parrying the CC. Able to walk away. Well done there to evade the gank. I was going to say, I have seen Geico play a matchup before where the opponent basically is down a skill. For Mordekaiser, it was E. For Maokai, it's W. But wait, look at that! Medusa, just no respect! What is that?
Yeah, I mean, I was completely caught off guard by that, and so is Medusa, just going to be taken down by Arena's Q. And the thing about Seraphine's
Oh my
empowered
God.
Q that a lot of people just don't realize is it does percent missing health damage, right? You know, that's that extra damage Mizusa just hadn't accounted for. You know, XT allows Joey to get off a safe back, allowing Joey to start scaling up as much as possible. And this was looking kind of shaky for EEK with the way how these team compositions go. But if this is what's going to happen to those scaling side lanes, it's looking pretty good for them.
Yeah. Man, Mizusa, always known as a greedy player, but that one was even a little bit much. Hopefully he's able to maintain a cool head after that, you know, keep himself in this game. It's probably going to be okay. Just wants to farm it out, just wants to keep on getting strong. Yeah, very interesting for sure.
Now, Ultravox, I have to ask, right? So you played with Mizusa before, yes?
Yeah.
So how would you describe Mizusa as far as tilt goes? Because, you know, there's some players who, like, if they die something silly like that, they just kind of laugh it off and say, oh, well, that's unfortunate. Just kind of shrug it off, go about their day. You know, there's other players who, something like that happens, it's mental boom. It's over. It's done for. How would you how would you explain Mizusa as a player?
Mizusa's pretty damn hard to tilt. He is very confident in his gameplay and will maintain confidence pretty much no matter what happens in the game. Always thinks that they can get a little bit more out of the play. You know, just take a little bit of an extra trade. I mean, just look at him skirting on the edges of the spells right there, making sure it works out. Joey's taking a lot of damage here. Geico doesn't have 6. Oh my god. Yeah, and here comes XT too. Yeah, Mizusa, he's going to be completely undeterred by that. He knows he can win. He knows he can scale up. I think he's got the titanium mental.
Yeah, that's perfect to hear. And one thing I'll also note, right? Joey took a little bit of a bad trade, right? It sucks. It happens. Geico is going to be able to pick up a CS lead for that. That being said, XT, beautiful timing to path up into top lane. Once your top laner is in a little bit of a rough spot, you know, going to be able to show yourself to make sure that the enemy top laner doesn't get that kill on you. Yes, you do lose the dragon, but remember, we noted at the beginning of the game, not letting Fiora get ahead is one of the win conditions on the side of EEK. And you have to play towards those win conditions, even if it does mean giving up things in the process.
Yeah, it's still a very tough trade. I'm not so sure if I like that one myself. I would like to have a Mountain Drake for sure, but I guess XT prioritizing his top laner there, doesn't think they can fight it out. I don't really know. I think they could have done it, especially with it just barely being a level 7 Kale here. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know. I think they really could have tried to contest that one, but just a little bit of mismanagement there. Dax taking advantage of that, securing the Drake for his team, putting him on a little bit of an early lead. Those extra stats are going to go a long way.
I mean, I think that as far as the bot lane placement was concerned, you know, they pretty much had the enemy team shoving them under tower, so going to contest that dragon would have been a little bit rough, you know, when the enemy bot lane has the inside angle. So, you know, the moment you do show top lane, you understand that you are going to be giving over that dragon. That being said, so we said earlier, right, that Escape and War Leader don't really see Kongzi as the biggest threat. And right now, as far as this lane phase is concerned, they seem to really be playing up to standard, right? You know, they said that, like, hey, you know, this guy's mortal. This guy's not, like, the craziest person I've ever played against. And it kind of shows, right? They're only down 1 CS. Actually, straight up 0.
Straight up 0. Pretty impressive. Pretty good there. Kongzi, I think that he's going to be able to take over the game after we get to the team fighting stage. It's going to be...
Yeah, only time will tell.
Yeah, the Triforce is a super early spike. It's a lot better than MF's Kraken Slayer spike, I believe. So
no mana.
Have to look for that in these dragon team fights that are going to be coming up. That's when Kongzi is going to pop off. The lane is roughly inconsequential. You can't make much headway versus MF Lulu there. There's just really no kill pressure, especially when you've got a Soraka at your side. Yeah, but Dax is here. Yeah, Kongzi's running up down. This could be bad. Flash forward. He's able to catch him. Heal comes out, trying to save Omnipresent, but she's going to be going down. Kazi trying to trade back. Will not be enough, though. Escape takes the kill, slays the support. Dax finds a successful gank.
Yeah, but one thing to note here is that Geico
now
he's under tower. Oh,
it's pretty rough here, but here comes XT to save the day. They dive Geico, clean up that kill, and it's a trade on both sides of the map.
Yeah, and that's those cross map plays you have to be careful about. Right, you know, XT had been able to pick up the Herald, had been able to pick up the kill, and had been able to pick up those cross-map plays. And just like that, EEK just gonna squeak on by with a 700 gold lead 10 minutes into the game.
Yeah, they're finding it. That Herald, very critical to maintaining this gold lead, to trying to find and maintain this gold lead, excuse me. So, good job from XT to prioritize that. Trying to get some more money in his and his top laner's pockets. I think his pockets are going to be significantly more important here. Tank Udyr still putting up some pretty good numbers. I don't know if he's going to be going Q-Max. He's got the Conqueror, though, so it definitely is possible. There's not a whole lot tanks to shred through on BBZ, so definitely an option to try to play the Triforce auto attack build.
It is an option, but you do have to note that Dark Seal has got those 2 stacks right there, so likely going to be seeing more points into that Phoenix stance. Really only time will tell. Conqueror is going to be totally fine on either of those builds. One thing I will note from Joey that I actually like a lot here is that a lot of people when playing into Fiora will make the mistake of going for early healing reduction. Now, don't get me wrong, Fiora loves to heal. Right, she heals a lot in lane. That being said, right, usually when you lose a fight into Fiora, it's not because she's out healing you, it's because she's just straight up taking your entire health bar, like doing a billion damage. And Joey's building in a way to mitigate as much damage as possible in order to survive in this lane as long as possible. Big parry.
Though, getting the true damage off. Geico not able to find too much damage, actually. Yeah, that's the thing. When you're playing Maokai, you really don't have a W skill. Parry just ensures that the stun goes off every single time. It's a lot like the Mordekaiser matchup, but Geico's still trying to fight it out. There's the root, though. Geico just moving around, finding these vitals. There's the parry again, stuns him up. We'll keep on whacking him with these grass procs. They're flying back and forth, though. It's a very close fight.
Joey?
Tagged by the kitty, it's a flash forward! Joey! Let's go, Joey! He solo kills the Fiora!
Oh my lord, Joey with the solo kill and EEK with the dragon, gonna be able to pick up everything here. Now, I was saying for the side of Maokai, picking up healing reduction into Fiora is a mistake. For the side of Fiora, picking up no healing reduction to Maokai is also a mistake, because if you watch that fight, Fiora just pumps out so much damage with so many abilities, but the more abilities you hit, the more Maokai gets to heal, and Joey able to make use of that so well. Gonna be able to get an incredibly important 1v1.
Oh man, let's go Joey, the hometown hero, the one that everybody's rooting for, the underdog. He manages to get it done. You love to see it. Smashing this top lane open. He's doing it. He's really doing it. And now Geico, again, his Fiora gameplay is being called into question. Is it up to par? He's got the Divine Sunderer, which definitely makes the difference in these upcoming fights. He's still got the rest of the game to redeem himself, but it's looking a little shaky. Typing in Twitch chat during the cast, dude.
I mean, if anything, I gotta say, let's go, Joey.
Let's go, Joey.
Come on. Either way, XT not gonna be able to grab them just in time. Secret Agent, Escape, and War Leader going to be saying sayonara. We're just out of there as soon as possible. But right now, Medusa has, after that early mishap, has been quietly scaling up, right? This Kale's level 10. XT's so far in, but not gonna get punished for it. Oh my lord.
He's under the turret, man. No fear either from this dude. Trying to sling these Mystic shots. Helps his jungler with the Gromp here. Dax, War Leader, and Escape taking it real slow. They don't have Medusa to back him up. No teleport either. And they...
Yeah, and one thing I'll note for
frog.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I'll note for Joey right now, right? I don't believe that the Sunfire Aegis is fully complete, so Joey's actually gonna have a lot of trouble in the straight up 1v1 into Fiora. But the health bar is not actually the thing to watch here for Geico. The thing to watch is the mana bar. Once that mana bar starts running low, Joey can absolutely run hog wild.
Yeah, it's you better be taking presence of mind, dude, if that's your second stream. But yeah, it doesn't seem like Geico is able to maintain these super long extended fights. But here's Dax, the bot slide it in, gets the Cataclysm on a Kongzi. Flash is not enough to keep the Ezreal alive. War Leader KS is that one. Shame on him, but double kill going down. Both of them for BBZ.
All right, and here we are. Great slow flag and drag, gonna be able to start things up. And the Jarvan box is always helping. Misfortune going to be able to pick up one. Lulu gonna be able to pick up the other. And man, BBZ's bot lane really is going to be able to live up to what they've said earlier. This god feels mortal, and they're making him bleed.
Very, very true. Yeah, Kongzi has not had the opportunity to really pop off so far. The lane's been quiet. No team fights, no contention really from EEK so far. So there's no battleground to show off the skill. Instead, he's just getting ganked by Dax. Dax doing a fantastic job here on this bot side, making sure he can capitalize whenever he can, get this Cataclysm off and take down bot lane, trying to get escape ahead, prepare for these team fights that are coming up.
Yeah, I mean, as far as preparation for team fights goes, though, one thing we have to note, there are 3 tiers on the side of Team EEK, right? So item breakpoints, very, very important for, basically any team in League of Legends. Tier has some very, very different item breakpoints with the ways how items tend to work, right? Most item breakpoints, you buy the item, it's good. It does a lot of work for you. It's perfect. It's fine. Tier of the Goddess, not only do you have to have enough money to buy the item, you have to have that tier fully stacked up. None of these tiers are fully stacked up just yet. Nobody's had enough money to buy that item, but the trade-off is when you do have those completed, right? Not only are they cheap, they're always very high impact items. Fimbulwinter means that Joey gets to become basically invincible. Kongzi goes from dealing occasionally a decent bit amount of damage to occasionally war crime levels of damage. Arena gets to go from firing off abilities, every second to every half second, right? These tier items are something you have to be very, very careful of if you're BBZ, and either you give up in the mid game as far as when those tier items fully complete, or you decide to just fight right before those tier items can fully complete.
Yeah, very true. Fimbulwinter can be delayed a little bit. Looks like Joey's going for the Frozen Heart. Very high value there. But bot lane, all gathering up. All 4 members. 5 for EEK now around. There's a Dragon Pit here. They're scouting it out. Getting vision control.
Scouting it out. Just looking to get as much control as possible. They've left that top tower basically to die here. And right now, Joey still does have the teleport. Probably going to be looking to TP back up to, keep that second tower alive perhaps. But it seems Geico's not going to be staying there for too much longer.
Yep. Yeah, getting on out of there. Dragon goes over. No contention. BBZ doesn't want to try to take this fight. Content to keep on scaling up. Mezuzah, level check, he's level 12. 4 more levels before he becomes the god here on this tail.
Condition.
Gotta be watching out for
condition.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But I mean, it's still tough. They've got the Seraphine meatball thing going on. It's gonna take a lot of damage to shred through all that. Gonna need quite a little bit of penetration. Yeah, these team fights really could go either way. We haven't seen one yet. That's the thing. Like,
yeah,
these are 2 team fighting compositions, and they're just handshaking these dragons, right?
Yeah, I mean, one thing I will note, right? So, very interesting thing about playing into champions like Seraphine, right? There are certain items. Oh goodness, I smacked my my microphone. There are certain items like, for example, shoot! All of a sudden, I've forgotten the name. It is a lethality item. It gets rid of shields.
Serpent's Fang.
Serpent's Fang. Thank you.
Yeah.
You can tell that I do so much analysis for this game.
It's okay.
Yeah, but you know, Serpent's Fang does such an instrumental amount into this, but it does such a reduced amount of effectiveness on ranged champions. So even if Escape does choose to elect to pick up that Serpent's Fang, it's a really big question, right? How much value you'll really be getting out of it. As far as healing reduction is concerned, you have an Enchanter, so that's going to be pretty dang simple to do. You know, yes, they do have the Moonstone fully completed. Now it's probably just going to be looking to work on that Chemtech. Putrefier should not be an issue there.
Definitely possible, yeah. Gonna have to see what they start moving towards. Think that could be good. But Dax is starting to pressure around this mid lane, ensuring that his team can take this tower. He puts the flag, scares Kongzi away. I like this. This is just a little bit of standing gold collected for BBZ. They're starting to maneuver themselves around the map pretty orderly. They want to put Kale in the side lane. TP available means that they can join. If Baron is ever on the table, again, that soul XP so critical towards moving towards the Mezuzah win condition, like we were saying. And he's just sneaking up onto Arena here. Is this the solo kill? He's got some damage. There it is. Flash away.
Good flash
From Arena. Yeah, you cannot mess with the Kale as of right now. There's the level. Ding. Gotta keep on going. 3 more.
Oh boy. I don't know how much you know about things like Pokemon, for example, right? I, on the other hand, know very little. What I do know, however, is do you know of a move called Perish Song?
Perish Song. Yeah, you do it, and then the opponent dies in like 3 turns or something, right? Is that it?
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah.
I would have to look it up to be sure. You know, War Leader and Escape, our current Pokemon experts, are actually playing in this game, so they can't be in the chat to just kind of scream at us.
Here, he's like the Pokemon guy too.
Yeah, exactly, right. You know, we're our Pokemon experts when we need it. That being said, Mezuzah, 1 turn more, right? You know, the Parasong ever ticks down, and Kongzi is so close to getting to the point where he can really do a ton of damage, but Mezuzah's getting closer to the point where instead of just doing a lot of damage, Kale straight up takes over the entire game come level 16.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little ways off, another 5-ish minutes. I don't know if E can really grab a insane lead in that time. They're still down 2k gold here, and they're playing pretty conservatively. There's not really a whole lot of effort from XT to try to make things happen across the map. Seems just pretty content to be farming up and playing defensively. And I don't know if that's really what we want to do here. Maybe have to accelerate it a little bit. But here goes Geico. He's accelerating the game. He's taking it into his own hands. Joey has to flash away.
Oh, good flash.
Getting over the wall. It's a slowdown. Roots out Geico too. He's healing up. Wish will bring him a little bit higher in terms of HP, and he weathers the French storm that is Geico. There it is.
Yeah, and Joey gonna be working just fine in that side lane. As you can see, Geico has scaled up though, right? You know, that Fiora at level 13, gonna be able to do so much damage, gonna be able to pump out so much true damage that regardless of what Joey builds here, it's going to be very difficult for him to stay in that side lane. The only reason Joey managed to stay alive there is after committing that flash, is after the Soraka ultimate was already burned. And
here it's a big fight, bullet time, able to hit just about everybody. Dax has to flash away.
Geico in the back line.
But on the backside, Geico getting torn apart. Joey tries to do something on the backside, but he will get taken down. Escape. Mezuzah, eyes on them, kiting it out. XT's charging forward. Bullet time, Make It Rain will slow him down. Kongzi, he's full HP though. This is a chance to go crazy. He's arcade shifting forward. Everybody's so low. Flash in, and a flash in response from Mezuzah keeps him safe. It was such a close fight. That looked so good for BBZ at first.
Yeah, I mean, Dax had such an amazing engage with that Jarvan Cataclysm, but you also have to take into account that, you know, despite the bullet time hitting a ton of people, you have everyone grouped up for those AoE shields, you know, those AoE, that AoE silence on Omnipresent here, and
has to flash away. Arena Thunder taking some damage too, drops so low. Escape finds the kill. XT's next on the chopping block. Sliding in his Geico, it's a double kill for Escape. Kongzi has to try to get out of there, Omnipresent. Ooh, Geico's dealing a lot of damage. Silence Field. And
Oh my
Joey's
God.
intervention means that Geico doesn't find another kill, but the Dragon looks like it's going over to BBZ. They find it with Dax's Smite. They can look for Baron now, too. They've got their full team. They're going to take it fast as well.
Yeah, I mean, this team pumps out so much damage, and I mean, you saw Geico just absolutely running down Omnipresent there. You know, it was looking so good for Team EEK, but they just stayed a little bit too long, and Kongzi's just not able to pump out the same amount of damage that you'd see from a Kale, Fiora, and a Misfortune, and the Baron's just gonna go straight down.
Dax not letting another one slip through his fingers. That's a mistake he'll never make against TDE again, but here we go. They found the Baron, secured in full, sliding up to a 5k gold lead. Dragon's dead even as well. BBZ starting to put the game into their hands, and look at Mezuzah. Check him out, level 15.
One level away, and you can see Mezuzah picking up as much jungle camps as possible, looking to pick up that Gromp, just gonna pass it by, just gonna continue to funnel as much gold and experience into this Kale as humanly possible until we see that level 16 finally cross the event horizon.
Yeah, and oh man, it's gonna be tough for EEK to maneuver their way out of this one. They're getting outscaled. They're starting to miss their opportunity. Yes, they have Seraphine, but Kongzi, I don't know how much more he's going to be able to put out here. He did so well that one team fight just a little while ago. Started taking that one over, but be hard.
And one thing I want to note for the side of EEK right now is that they're looking so hard for this engage, but
wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, flash forward and ult committed from Arena Thunder. This is your chance if you're BBZ. You see this, you want to keep them occupied here. They don't have any tools to get on you besides XT just running at you. You leave this open. Geico, Mezuzah in the side lanes the entire time. It's such a well-executed 1-3-1 here. Full.
Yeah, I mean, there's nobody. It's a perfectly executed 1-3-1, and there's nobody who can answer to either of these monstrous side laners. Mezuzah just hit 16.
There it is. He has achieved Ascension. Geico taking a fight with Joey up here. Omnipresent there to back him up. Not able to do a whole lot, though. XT can't even clear the wave. Mezuzah scares him off, beating him away. Oh, it's not looking good for EEK here. They're going to get choked out. The Baron is just too much to handle. Their wave clear is not too hot either. But, oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think for the side of EEK right now, you just have to just make something happen, right? You just can't let this happen on repeat without having something in response. And Geico gonna be taken down here.
He's out of mana. He has to flash away. XT trying to run him down. The root will find Dax. And he's gonna be just moved forward. Gets invincible. Bullet time hits a lot of people. Big damage coming in from Escape and Mezuzah. Joey, XT, they cannot find their way out. Omnipresent, her healing isn't enough to keep them alive. And BBZ, they win the team fight. They're taking down these Nexus turrets, and after a tough defeat yesterday, they're gonna find the dub right here after they find these remaining 2 kills. Line in their pockets just a little bit more. Now the Nexus will go down and BBZ stand victorious.
Man, and BBZ gonna be able to take that one in the end. Escape finally learning how to win a game with 6 kills on Misfortune. And just like that, BBZ once again returning to the glory that we anticipated from this team in the preseason.
Yeah, very well done. They found their footing. Mezuzah on a comfort pick. He will be going up for the interview. I think that's going to be coming up. I got to go draft. I got to get out of here. Let's hear from our winner.
Hello, folks. Welcome back. Our second interview of tonight, joined by Mizuza, mid laner of BBZ, Blue Bayou Zoo. How are you feeling?
Pretty good. How's it going?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, we've seen some really interesting games today. What I liked about this game is I'm a Lulu abuser at heart, so I enjoyed seeing the war leader convert to the Church of Lulu. Played it really well with Dax in this. So let's talk a little bit first about yesterday's game. I'm just trying to, if I can, touch on these games since they were held offline. Shouts out to everyone for giving me the day off when I needed it. And playing some awesome games from what I hear. So let's talk about your game. You folks had matched up against TDE yesterday. You tell me you were on Galio. Talk to me a little bit about this game, closer than it ends up looking on the sheet.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was a really fun game to play. I think we as BBZ played not our best game, and I personally had probably one of my worst games in FOF. But at the same time, it was a game that showed a lot of the problems that we have as a team, but it was a game that we learned a lot from. And so I want to say thanks to TDE for giving us a really good game, and it was, we might have lost, but trust me, they're not going to win the second time.
Right on. Well, let's talk about today then. So looking at today's game, lots of interesting stuff all around. Like I'd already touched on, we had the Lulu. What I really liked is, of course, there was a very, very spicy gank with the J4 on the bot side, which we'll talk about in a second. You, my friend, though, got your hands on the Kale, which I know has long been a pocket pick. I've seen it banned against you many times. And, of course, Geico. I don't know how serious, like, the hovers for the Riven were. I think that would have been fun to see. It would have been kind of shit, honestly. That guy. I don't know. Like, for your comp, like, I feel like Fiora is a little bit more reliable and getting about, like, the same. He gets, like, the same thing done without being as greedy, quote unquote, so to speak. So I was glad to see the tried and true with the Fiora in Geico's hands. So talk to me a little bit about putting together this draft, what you ended up against.
Yeah, so I guess we kind of predicted the Seraphine. Frankly, EEK is a team that has a really strong AD carry, and their bot lane is incredibly strong. So, but the top side of the map is definitely one where you can pick some scaling and scale somewhat for free. Shoutouts to Irina. She was definitely playing a lot more aggressively in lane, which that shows tremendous growth as a player. So that's awesome. And I was just being a little too greedy and getting the wave pushed in all the way, and got punished for it with that first death. But after that, pulled it back a little bit. Just played slowly into my win condition. Got to that level 16 Kale and was able to. I mean, I would say win fights, but we basically didn't fight that much, except like 2 very, very close ones or so. And then we just macroed the game to death after that one fight.
Yeah, and you did, of course, touch on the one final thing I did want to talk about, which was, for a 12-5 game, which I think the most important thing to point out about this game, which could get lost in the shuffle, is that you had 35 assists across the whole team. So whenever the kills were happening, it was a collective effort. But in a game like this, there were, as you say, a couple of close calls. Especially, there was a fight towards the very end of the game where Kongji, if just a dice had fallen the other way, so to speak, it could have very nearly been a triple or even a quadra kill that could have really opened up the most explosive player on their team with a large amount of gold. Talk to me a little bit, if you would, about playing out the end of this game, knowing that was a possibility, especially as some of these items are starting to come online.
Yeah, so, I mean, that fight was incredibly close. It's really hard to... I'd have to look at it again for all the details, but what I remember of the fight was we were playing through a corridor, they were playing through a corridor, we didn't get the most optimal ults, we didn't have Fear at the beginning, but after all was said and done, we had gotten, I think, two kills, but we're on super low health bars. That's the one we're talking about, right?
Correct.
Yeah, Kongzi could have, like, if we hadn't pulled back at that moment, I think Kong goes Kong mode and kills us all. Fortunately, I think one thing we've really had to work on as a team is just pulling off of plays once we've gotten what we can, and then coming back to them. So we reset, and then I teleport down, and we play another fight within the next 20 seconds, right? It's like continuation of that same thing. And there we were able to win. And I think that's probably the biggest growth we've had as a team, just being like, it's both our biggest weakness, but also the place where we know we need to grow.
All right, well, Mazuza, thank you so much for joining us for the interview. Before we step away, I want to give you an opportunity for any final thoughts, any shout-outs, any banter to get on the desk.
Well, gotta say goodbye to our old friends Rex. Salute to the fallen, I suppose.
Rest in power, King.
Yep.
Exactly.
Other than that, yeah, we're coming for you guys. We're getting a lot better, and our first round robin might have been okay, but our second one is going to be a lot better. And yeah, just to close off, good health, good wealth, great sex. Goodbye, Rex.
That's incredible, bro. All right, cool, folks. We're gonna take a short break. We'll be back in just a moment, with our final game of the day. It's the explosive matchup we've all been waiting for. It's SLR versus TDE. Don't go anywhere.